Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be creating an 8x8 mini album. It's just going to be actually creating the album today, and then in the next video it's going to be decorating it. This video was already quite long. I wanted to do it in one video, but it just would have been quite a long video for you guys. So today's video we're going to be actually creating the mini album, so the cover, the binding and the pages. I'm going to be using some of the tools and things that I've recently purchased and I've showed you in some of my haul videos, so you can really kind of see those items sort of in action. So the reason why I'm doing a little intro like this to begin with is because obviously I haven't done this for a little while. I'm not really going to give you sort of too much of an update, but just to let you all know that obviously I did have a baby. She is now 6 weeks old today, so just in between her taking a nap, I am just trying to get some stuff done. So I am still very much working through the process of how to carry on do my videos, editing and things, obviously with a baby. So it's just kind of in between you know, naps and times where I really get the chance to come up here. So I did have, I think I missed a video last week because I again was I didn't have any time to sort of put anything together. Before that was basically everything that I had pre-uploaded before I'd given birth. So you know, I made sure that I had a lot to kind of carry my channel to at least this point, but I'm hoping now moving forward it is still going to be one video a week at the moment, but yeah, I'm hoping to just get at least a little bit of time during the week to be able to carry on doing my videos. But the reason for this video, and again this intro that I'm doing, is because recently I have reached 4,000 subscribers. So I want to thank each and every single person who has subscribed to my channel and made it grow over these years. Like I'm so grateful for you know, you guys watching my videos and commenting and liking them and subscribing. It is really special to me, and this is why I'm trying my hardest to kind of carry everything on, even in sort of the more difficult times. Is I am still trying to kind of do what I can. So because of that, I wanted to do a giveaway. I'm not sure, I did a giveaway for my 3,000 reaching subscribers, so I definitely wanted to make the most out of reaching 4,000. So the album that I'm going to be creating in this video and decorating in the next video, I am going to be giving away, but I've also decided to give away 2 other prizes as well. So all 3 prizes are going to have an actual project that I've made, and then I'm not sure yet, I might just add a few other sort of little surprise bits and pieces in there as well. So in this video, there's only going to be one video and I'm just going to draw all 3 names from this video. So within the video there is going to be a word or a phrase that is going to come up, and that's what you need to comment down below to enter you. Please don't just go and look in the comments to work out what that is. I would appreciate obviously if you did watch this video. So yeah, I'm going to be giving away just a little sneak peek of the mini album. I'm not going to show you the inside of it, but that is the cover. So like I said, I'm going to be decorating that in the next video. So that is prize number 1. Prize number 2 is the Christmas folio. I can't remember what I called this, but this is the one that has got the notepad in the middle, so just in time for Christmas. You know, you've got places for your receipts and everything like that. So that is going to be the second prize, and you can see the video on my channel of how you create these, but that is going to be number 2. And I am giving you a sneak preview of a video that is coming up. So this one hasn't come out yet, but I did want to include it in my giveaway. Is this really cute? It's decorated with dogs on there, but this is, if I just undo it, is a, oh, I've obviously got a little note on there, but is a post-it note holder. So you can see we've got sort of the raised area to hold the post-it notes. So you can, once you've used the post-it notes up, you can obviously keep the case and then just pop some more post-it notes in there, and then it is going to close. So of course you can take this out, but it was just to keep it kind of closed and sort of decorated nicely. So this is coming on, I'm not sure when you're going to see it, but obviously my videos are at 5 o'clock on Saturdays at 5 p.m. Here in the UK. So yeah, do look out for that one. So those are the 3 prizes. Like I said, I might include a few other bits and pieces in there as well. This is just because the weight of the items, unfortunately this is going to be for UK only. So like I said, there's going to be a word or a phrase within this video. You will, when you see it, you'll know that that's what it is, and that's what's going to enter you into this competition. I would have liked to have done the second video for Sunday, so for tomorrow, but I want to give everybody an opportunity to kind of, obviously not everyone watches these videos as soon as they come out, so I want to give everyone an opportunity to watch the video across the week. So the next video is going to come out the following Saturday, so next Saturday, and then at the end of that video I am going to let you know who is going to be receiving these 3 prizes. So again, you know, just comment on the video down below with the word or phrase to enter. Don't forget to like this video as well. Ideally, I'd love you to be a subscriber. So if you aren't a subscriber currently, then please hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell will notify you when I upload a new video. So without further ado, let's get into creating our mini album in this video. Hi everyone, it's Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp, and welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be making an album, a mini album in this video, but not so mini because I'm going to be creating it in an 8x8 size. So I've not created one this size as of yet. I've only really dabbled in kind of a 6x6 size, so hopefully this is going to go well. And the reason I wanted to create a bigger one is because I'm going to use some of this Paper Boutique Seaside Fun kit that I've got. We've got the different papers in here and some toppers and things which I think we'll be able to use to decorate this album. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I might give it away, I might pop it on my website to sell. Not sure yet, but I'm just creating it just to kind of have a go really at creating small albums, using up that paper kit, and yeah, just kind of having fun really. So I've already cut my grey board. So obviously the front and back pieces are 8x8 inches. I've got my spine, this is 8 inch by 2 inch, and I pulled out, grab it, this is the Craft UK 12x12 white cardstock 250 GSM. I showed you that in a recent haul video for using for this very purpose. So yeah, I've already done just that. That's all the prep work I've literally done so far, was just to cut these. And what I've also picked out is my tools, just here for creating the actual album itself. So again, I showed you this in a recent haul video, which is going to help to wrap our cover and actually create this. So now I've got this cut down, I'm going to pop this just to one side, because what I need to do is bring these 2 sheets of white cardstock together to make a piece that's going to be big enough to wrap around our cover. So for this first bit, I'm going to take some red liner tape, because I do really want this to stay attached. Let's grab some scissors. So while we've got all this white on screen, my camera is going to be a little funny. And then what we want to do is make sure that we've got that nicely burnished down. Take off the red tape, and then what I'm actually going to do is just use the grid marks on my mat just to help line it up. It doesn't have to be precise. This tape is around about 1/2 inch, so it will give us a nice join there. And then we have essentially our wrap. So again, let me see if I can zoom out. Nope, that literally is as far as I can zoom out. So hopefully once we start getting this wrapped and things, the lighting will sort of come back. So I've just lifted up my camera. Hopefully that's going to be easier for you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, because obviously we're working on something quite big here. So the first thing I'm going to do is take some of this double-sided tape. You can do construction glue with this. You can do just glue. I've literally just glued some of my other albums together, but now I've got this tape. I'm just going to pop it sort of near enough in that centre. I might do some glue on it as well, just to give it a little bit of extra support there. But there we have our spine down, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is add some tape onto these pieces as well. Okay, so now I've got tape on both sides because we do need it on both sides. So let's take our tools for a start. So this one is our T square, let's say, and this is going to help make sure that the tops are nice and lined up. So we've got, and then this one here can obviously like go on this side to help with the spine itself. Now the last thing I used this on, which I can't remember what it was now, I felt like it was, the spine was a little bit thick, but obviously this is something we're creating is a little bit bigger. But maybe I might do the 1.5 mil. So you've got one that's 2 mil and then one that's 1.5. So yeah, I might do the 1.5 for this one. But I'm also going to add some glue just to the centre of these pieces. So we've got then a nice little join in the middle there. Let's just do the same for this side. So that's how you use these two things here. So again, I didn't use this because this is wider than I want it to be, but essentially you would just put it there and use it to keep everything nice and straight. And then with this one, like I said, you've got either the 1.5 mil or the 2 mil for your spine. So let's just put my lid on my glue a moment. The next thing we're going to use is this here. And this is essentially going to give us our wrap around. So there or thereabouts is totally okay with me. But again, I want to show you sort of using these tools and everything kind of fully. Now I'd imagine at this point, this is going to be too long to pop sideways through my trimmer. So I might have to probably cut that by hand, but we can certainly cut these pieces. There we go. So this sort of cutting down and that, it doesn't have to be particularly too neat and tidy really, because it's all going to get wrapped in. But before we do that, the next thing we need to do is use our corner mitre, and essentially we're just going to press this right up against the side, and then that's going to give us our corner to take off there, and that's just going to make a neat wrap right the way around, which then includes those corners. So the next thing we need to do now is actually wrap the book itself, and so before we put any glue down, what I'm going to do is just when it comes to these flaps here, I'm literally just going to start to help it kind of bend that way. We don't need to be too precise at this point because we're going to use our bone folder as well. But it's just to start to help sort of train it where it wants to go. Like so. So what we're going to do is start with the top and bottom and then do those sides afterwards. So we're going to come back in with our glue, and the first thing we want to do is right in this kind of join here in between our cardboard and our card, we want to add a nice bead of glue, and then we're going to do a bead of glue along. Again, construction glue, you don't even have to use that. What I haven't done, which I've just noticed, is added tape to our spine. So let's just get that on quickly. Okay, and then, so what I'm going to do is start from the middle, and I'm going to bring it in. And then we're just going to use our bone folder just to help really bring that over and just let that double-sided tape catch it. And again with this side. So I just kind of start at the back and then kind of bring it forward. Then so that helps just sort of wrap it completely. So let's do the same on the other side. So we do have just that bit of double-sided tape just underneath. That is gonna come up. But I'm not too worried about that just for the moment. So we've got both of our top and bottom wrapped, and now we can go ahead and do the sides. And again, it's literally just that same process. So let's take that one off. What we're going to do with the corners here is we're just going to push them in. That's going to give us just a really nice, neat corner there. Same again, we're going to come in with our bead of glue all along, and then I'm going to start from the edge and then just simply roll it over. And this process goes the same for whether you're creating a book this big or if you're doing a smaller book. You know, this same process applies for all of them. And essentially that is our front cover and our spine wrapped. And then what I always see a lot of people do is just to kind of square off this top. So they just run their bone folder all the way across it and on the ends as well. So the last thing we've got to do here is cover obviously this portion. All I'm going to do is just crease into those lines a little and just sort of bring it up, make sure I'm happy. You want to use a good cardstock here, something that's not going to crack on your edges. But I'm not too worried about getting that sort of portion done in terms of the folding and things, because yeah, we do want to cover this area first. So to cover this, I've actually just taken 2 of the strips that I'd cut off, you know, the top and bottom here. Let's take this one off, and then of course we've got that area already exposed on our spine. And so this is whatever, so that's 1.25 inches, and this is by 7 7/8 of an inch. And I'm going to pop this just right over our spine piece, our join. Make sure it's as even as possible. So to cover these two pieces here, I've cut 2 pieces of white 7 7/8 square, and they're going to go over this portion. Yep, so that's going to line up nicely. And I've cut this from a 300 GSM, only because I didn't want to use the 12 by 12 because I only had 25 sheets. Obviously this is taken up 2, so I didn't necessarily want to use up that whole pad just for this one particular book. So I have other cardstock that I can use as well, like this. So I just used 2 A4 sheets, and then we have these pieces which we'll be able to use maybe inside the book as pockets and things like that. So I'm not too worried, yeah, in that sense about having lots of scraps and things like that. So I'm going to add again some tape. So this can be quite a tape heavy project. Like I said, I think one of the last books that I created, it was just one for myself, I think it was. I used, I'm pretty sure it was the majority was just glue. Again, I'd be happier using a construction glue rather than that Nuvo glue, but as it stands at the moment I still don't have any. But yeah, this can be quite a tape heavy project. Ooh. So yeah, this one does seem to be sort of coming down a bit, so you definitely want to factor that in if you're looking to sell anything like this, you know, your materials, things like your tape. Definitely want to look at factoring that in to your costs. And the most important thing is to make sure that we line it up with the pieces that we've just put down to these 2 pieces here, because you want it to look nice and tidy. So that's again another benefit from using then glue as well. So there is one, and I'm not too worried about this portion that's showing here, because when we build our spine next, that is fingers crossed, that's all going to get covered. So normally I would do just a piece there, but because I had those 2 pieces just as scraps, I thought, well, I might as well use them up. So because, you know, these 2 bits here, this is what you are gonna see. So that's our inside, and then we have our cover. So I don't know what you can sort of see on screen. A little bit here I can see that glue just through that cardstock, but we're going to be covering this anyway, so I'm literally not worried about that at all. Let's just make sure our edges are down. And then again we can come in here, find where our creases are, and I'm literally just running my bone folder there just to lift it up. Whether that really makes any difference, sort of doing that, but it always makes me feel better. You want to make sure that you don't kind of pierce through. You just want to kind of get it. It's a really lovely size actually. So just got a little bit of muck there. I think it was from the label actually. On there, let's just take that off. But again, not too worried about that because I can cover that up anyway. So there, apart from our spine obviously, but that is then our wrapped book. which I think looks absolutely great. So again, there's really not much to it in terms of actually making them. When you've made one, they're actually pretty simple to put together. So this is this size 8x8. This is one that I showed in another video as a 6x6 option, done exactly the same. You can see I've got that same join there on the spine, and then we're going to create a mechanism like this for our pages. That's where it's going to come in a little more in terms of creating those pages. So this might end up being a longer video. It might be that I decorate this in a different video. We just really need to see yeah, I need to see sort of how long this bit really takes. So it may be a two-parter, but what we're going to do now is finish off the actual book itself, and we are going to make our spine. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is make our spine. So I've already got my pieces done here, and this will make actually 18 pages. So this is going to be quite a big mini album. Obviously with the size, you kind of want to fill it a little bit more. So hopefully we've got enough papers and everything to actually fill this up. But we shall see what we've got, and then if it turns out I don't, then maybe I'll just decorate it with a different pad where I know I've got a lot more stuff. So yeah, for your hinges, so you could, if you don't want this piece here, this is an additional piece I added, but you will want these kind of 4 pieces here. Now these all measure they all measure 7 3/4 inches tall, and then we've got 3 inches, 2.5 inches, 2 inches, 1.5 inch, and then this is 3/4 of an inch. Everything is going to be in the blog post, which is over on my website. The link is in the description box down below, so don't sort of worry about trying to remember all of this. And then with each of these, again, if you just take out that piece, these 4 pieces here, so this is 3 inches wide. All you're going to do is score 1/2 inch in from each side, and then this is going to be the piece where we're going to attach our page to. And then essentially these are all just going to sit inside of each other. So I watched, Helen Griffiths has got loads of amazing tutorials on mini albums, different kinds of mini albums using envelopes and bags and things like that, and this is how she creates her spines. And I've tried it this way, and I've tried it the other way where you do a lot of scoring and you try to kind of sort of glue pieces together. That I didn't sort of get on quite as well with as I did with this method. So yeah, you can check out any of her videos. I'm pretty sure she uses this method, and I think as well, if you look at some of her products over on Craft Stash, she actually has a die that creates these as well. So yeah, you can see that this is kind of her design of choice. And then so this is pretty much what you've got. So each one of these is going to be sort of 2 page, obviously like a single page. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then with this additional piece, this is going to be that 18, 17 and 18 page. Now the reason I did this was because I had a 1/2 inch gap in this centerpiece, and I didn't quite like it. Unless you want to do something that's going to be more bulky in the middle, I'm wondering we could do maybe something like a waterfall in this one. So we could literally throw everything at this album, in which case then maybe I'd want to keep that open. If not, I'm not sure yet, so I'll leave it off for the time being. Then when we come to do our pages and decorate, if I decide to put that in, then I can add this piece in or not. But what I do here, so this is again 3/4 of an inch, just scoring at that 1/2 inch. You've got a 1/2 inch, and then you have a 1/4 of an inch. This 1/4 of an inch is just going to line up and butt up against that score mark, and then essentially you're just adding that 1 extra page into the center there. So you're going to end up with a full piece here. The other thing we need to do just to help put our pages on is to just take a small section off our edges here. So all I'm going to do is come in from that score mark and take off just that little bit of corner, just so it looks like that. So again, it just makes it easier for us to get our pages slotted into place. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to leave this piece off just for the time being. So let's get this back in. What we're going to do now, I will add a little more tape to this piece, but we're going inside of those score marks here, and oops, there. If you've got a smaller piece of tape, you could run a smaller bit of tape down there. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and add this to all of the backs and not going over those score lines. Okay, so I did have a little bit of smaller tape there, so that is great. So let's take the back off these. And what I want to do is get this piece here, this section, we want to get in the centre of this section just here. So again, what I could do is just use the lines on my grid mat just to help line that up like so. So that's our first little bit. Then let's bring in this one, do the same again. So in between this, you've got about 1/4 inch between your pages on each side, because obviously we've come down that 1/2 inch altogether in size. And then do this one last of all. Like so. So this is then what you should have looking like. And then what we want to do, so we're going to move all of these ones. So we want to make sure this all moves as it should. So what we're going to do is you're going to take all of your pieces and move them all to one side. And we're really going to press over that with our foam folder. And then we're going to take all of those back, and then we're just going to do the same this way, because we really want to make sure that it's got that movement. Again, let's go this way. So you want to make sure that you're kind of breaking them in really, and they'll go sort of both ways, so you can turn your pages nice and easily. And then, so this is what I was saying, here you can see that, so you've got this nice even gap between this section and this section, and then you've got this bigger gap, 1/2 inch gap between that section just there. That's why then I found putting that piece in just kind of bridge that gap quite nicely. But again, we'll see what we do. We can always add that in. So again, just keep moving it until we get it how we want it. So now we can add this into our book. So let me just move some of this stuff out of the way. So again, it doesn't really matter which way around our book is going to go. We've got a sticky portion here. Let's just take off. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on its side because I want to make sure I'm lining it up with our papers here, but then I also want to make sure that I'm getting it within our spine section. Let's add some glue just to give us a little bit of wiggle space. Like so. So hopefully I can sort of get this in camera. So again, I want to make sure. So this is ever so slightly smaller, our spine, because we did this section. This was 7 7/8, whereas this is 7 3/4. 3/4. But I think that's going to be okay. By the time we've got our pages in and things, you're not really going to notice. So I'm happy with that. So let's just get that all pressed down. So that is our album with our spine in it. What I would say though, is something to be wary of, is the fact that our 2 outside pieces, which is going to be our first and last set of pages, does sit flush right up against our cover, so hopefully that's not going to be a problem anywhere. I probably wouldn't add too much bulk to those pages, but yeah, just something to consider there. But otherwise that is pretty much our cover done, and yeah, added our spine. So all we need to do now is make the pages, and then we can then get decorating with that. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do for our album is to add our pages. Now the one thing to really think about here, is, especially with this size, is it can be quite a paper heavy project, and the majority of that is literally probably going to come in the decorations, but also in terms of like your plain paper, your plain cardstock, it's going to be creating your pages. Again, certainly for a size album like this, being an 8x8. But so we've done all of our wrapping. This is the next day for me now, so everything is kind of set and really nice. We've got our binding in here, which we're going to add our pages to. So yeah, still super happy with this. So let's put that to one side. So again, I've done a little bit of prep work already for our pages, and I've made all but one of them, so I'm going to do that on screen, because I thought, well, it's not something that you really need to see me create all of them, but again, this is where it starts to get a little bit page heavy. So in terms of what we've done so far, so we've used 2 sheets of 12x12, which was to wrap the actual cover. The strips that we did down the spine, that was just some scraps we had left over from those 12x12s. When I do the instructions and put all the measurements over on the blog post, which is on my website, I'm just going to do it as one whole piece rather than the 2 strips that I did. Just, you know, you can do it the same way that I've done in this video, or again, you can just, if you want to just do one piece though, you've got a measurement there for that. So yeah, currently 2 pieces of 12x12 white. We've had 2 pieces to do the back and front cover, just again because of the sides. This was 7 and 7/8 square, both of these. So that was another 2 pieces. So that's 2 pieces of A4 here. And then basically to create your pages, and again, because then we've so far done our spine to have 16 pages, which is essentially 8 pages, and obviously you're going to use both sides. That means I've needed to use 16 sheets of A4 cardstock to create all of my pages. So yeah, kind of paper heavy, but I think it is going to be worth it. You can create something really nice with these. So yeah, it's just kind of knowing that, I suppose, ahead of time, that it is going to be using a decent amount of a card. So yeah, I have done these ones already so far. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're gonna do the 8th one on camera. So with these, essentially, at the moment, what we've got is this kind of tube that we've created, and this is gonna help us to be able to pop it onto the binding. You can leave these sides open if you want to. I'm probably gonna close mine up, but you can have it where then you can pull the bits and pieces from the side and have extra like photo mats and things in there, but I think we're going to be able to fit enough in the book without needing to do that. Let me show you what I have done so far. So what you want to do, again, so to create one single page, which means when I say a single page, I mean one page to fit onto one strip of binding. That's going to give you 2 sides to use. So that's what I mean by 1 page. So we're going to need 2 sheets of A4 cardstock. Again, I'm going to say A4 because that's what I'm using, but in terms of the measurement, so each one of these pieces is going to be 7 3/4 inches by 8 1/4, which is just the width of an A4 sheet of paper. The finished card size, page size, is going to be 7 3/4 inches square. So we need the 8 1/4 inch, so we need that extra 1/2 inch because we need to have a tab on each page. Now if you're making a smaller album, you might be able to get away with doing this, you know, using just 1 sheet of cardstock that you can just fold over, but with like this size, definitely going to need to use 2 pieces here. So you want to cut all 16 sheets to that size. So again, that's 7 3/4 high by 8 1/4 wide, and then basically on all of the pieces you're going to score at 1/2 inch, and like I said, that's going to give us our tab. So I've cut the pages down, I've scored it, I've burnished it, and I've also added a piece of double-sided tape to this. And all we're going to do is attach these ones together. So I'm going to start off by taking off my double-sided tape. The other thing you'll notice as well is I have just trimmed a little bit off the corners here that you can see that we've done around the rest of the project, just to take some of that bulk out. I'm going to add just a little bit of liquid glue on top of that for a little bit of wiggle room. And then so having the tape facing up on the left hand side here, I'm going to attach this straight edge onto this tab here, and you want to make sure you get it lined up nice and straight. So I sort of do it like that, and then I kind of bend it over, make sure that it's in place, using that glue on there as well. A little bit of liquid glue will give you just that little bit of wiggle room if you need it, and then we can burnish that down at the side. So now we've got just this kind of open book, and essentially again, because we're making a sort of a tube, if you like, we want to bring this one over. So I'm going to pop it on this side just because that's easier for me being left-handed. I'm going to burnish this down again, so really fold that crease because it does make things a little easier. I'm going to pull up the tape. Now what you want to be careful with is that you don't have tape sort of hanging over the edge. I have had a little bit because my tape is just slightly bigger than my 1/2 inch. That's not a problem, so we just sort of tuck that in a little bit, neaten it up. Again, a little bit of liquid glue. I'm just going to kind of hold it, and what I'm going to do is bring this over and really just start by lining up the bottom of this. And again, because then you've got that double-sided tape with that glue, you're going to have just a little bit more time. And when you're happy that it's in place, then you can go ahead and really burnish those ones down. And there we have our little page tube here, which can then go onto our binding. Essentially what we're going to do next is basically where we've got our tube opening, it's going to open like this, and all that's going to do is just help us to attach that to our binding, and then it's going to sit nicely on the inside here. So what I'm going to do now, just off camera, is I'm going to add my double-sided tape to each side of my binding, and we're going to do the same thing again. Basically we're going to add a little bit of liquid glue on top of this for a little bit of wiggle room, and then we can add our pages on. Okay, so now I've got all of my tape on my binding. So what you want to make sure is that you're not going over our score mark, or you know, our pages aren't going to move properly. So what we're going to do is kind of a start. I mean, again, it really doesn't matter. We don't have like a front and a back at the moment. So you want to just sort of start from one side. So let's say this is going to be the back. And what we want to do is sort of get it so it is properly obviously lined up and everything. So what I'm going to do is take off just from the very back our double-sided tape. Again, we can run just a bead of glue down that side, and the same again for the other side. And again, you don't have to use double-sided tape for this. I have made this and done this section literally just using the liquid glue. So what I'm going to do is turn it, so hopefully you're going to be able to see it. I know my camera goes a bit funny when we've got a lot of sort of white going on, but essentially what we're going to do is just open our tube up. We're going to slip it over that piece of binding, and we want to bring it down again as far as that score mark. And what we can do is just pop it down, make sure it's kind of, what we want is for all of our pages to sit really nice and neat inside here. And then by doing it when it's down, laid down flat, it means it's not going to want to just stay completely upright. It will sort of sit down. So if I show you this one here, the way it opens is it does kind of lie flat. It wants to lie flat like that, and it'll do that both ways because of how we've done that, where we're placing it down where it is flat. So again, what you want to make sure is get your sort of first one in the right position in terms of where it is along this back piece, and yeah, just sort of work from there. And we're going to make sure then that the rest of our pages line up with this one here. So we can come in with our next one. So let's take off our tape. So you want to do this carefully, making sure you don't stick it either to another piece of binding or your previous page. I'm literally just doing one bead of glue along here, again, just for a little extra support there. So I'm just going to turn it this way. Again, hopefully you guys can see it. So we're going to open it up. We're going to just pop it in. I'm going to bring it as far down. Make sure it's lined up with that page. There's going to be a lot of kind of moving and sort of jigging around to make sure it's in the right place. We want to make sure then it's attached really nicely to that piece of binding there as well. So again, for the moment, we've still got these open. So again, you can decide if you want to do any of the pull out pieces. So that is 2 of our pages. And again, if you just sort of, it's going to be a little bit bulkier obviously with this one, so it's not going to, you know, lie completely flat both ways, because obviously we do have that bulk, but yeah, it is going to sit, fingers crossed, really, really nicely. So okay, so now we've got all of our pages in, so we're going to do just a little bit of a walkthrough with what we've got so far. And then when it comes to the decoration, depending on how long this video is so far, I'm either going to do the decoration in a second video, which will be the next video out that you'll see, probably the following day. If not, then obviously I'll just carry on the footage after obviously showing you this. But so if we just sort of look down it, I mean, its majority is going to kind of, you know, you can hold it like that if you want to. You can obviously have it sort of with a closure. I would quite like to put some eyelets in the front and back with a little bit of ribbon. I think that would be nice to kind of keep it closed. But you can kind of look down and see the pages. Obviously, when we've got a bit more bulk on here, we've got our photos and things like that, it's going to sit and sort of spread out a little further. But you can see you've got that middle gap there. Which here it is. So obviously we made this extra little piece to go in there to add that extra page to the center, so you didn't have that big gap. But we're going to see when we kind of come to the end, see whether we want to add that or not, or whether we want to do maybe some sort of like waterfall feature in here, or something else that's maybe just like a little bulkier, just to fill up that space a little bit. I'm not sure again how I'm going to decorate it yet. I'm feeling like this seaside fun. I did want to do this, but I'm wondering if I'm going to have enough pieces because of how big, how many pages we've got, and like doing the waterfalls and things. I'm a bit, I would hate to kind of get through it and start cutting everything up and then realise I don't have enough papers. So I might possibly find a kit that I've got a lot more stuff of, and I may or may not already have everything cut down, everything sorted, and it's just a case of gluing and then doing like a final walkthrough. I'm not sure yet, so yeah, it'll either be in this video or in the next video that you do see, but for now that is going to be our finished 8x8 album, which we've made from scratch. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to decorating it next.